Hello everyone, my name is Veritas and welcome back to Destiny. Now, I have some pre-recorded footage of this week's Nightfall, and I wanted to go over the weekly update that came out yesterday, technically, the 21st of January. It was a highly anticipated weekly update, being the first one of 2016, and the first one after a long radio silence, Bungie's holiday, and well, there's been a content gap. If you're playing Destiny currently, day to day, every few days, or you love the game like I do, you probably know that there's about a 4-month content gap currently from when Taken King came out to there being no new DLC and no new actual content. The most recent thing we've had is SRL, the S.a.b.e.r Racing League. I consider that more of a treat than an actual content piece. It's kind of like if you only eat snacks all day long, you're not really getting a meal. There's no breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's just having a bowl of chips or, a soda. It's not actually good for you. It's not going to sustain you completely, but it's passable. But after a while, you do get tired of having some chips. So, if we go through with this, considering that SRL, Iron Banner, and things like that are snacks and not actual hearty meals, we end up with a starving player and an angry player because they're not getting the nutrition they deserve. So, coming up in February, we're going to have a new event called Crimson Days. From the weekly updates picture, it looks like someone got brutally murdered all over the tower, but it's actually rose petals, I'm assuming. There's some kind of, red engram petals or something silly like that. But as the weekly update states, love will be in the air. It will last for 1 week starting on February 9th. So from the 9th to the 16th, technically, I think, there will be a Crucible 2v2 playlist called Crimson Doubles. It'll feature a special twist born of new gameplay and mechanics that only battle-tested star-crossed lovers will appreciate. You need a dancing partner. So, 2v2s, Crimson Doubles. It's basically doubles playlist. People are theorizing that there's maybe a shared health pool, or you have to stay close or else you start losing health, or maybe there's maybe it's 2v2 of multiple teams, 2v2v2v2 or something like that. I think that would be kind of cool. Kind of like, there was a game mode Wingman in Gears of War, and I think there was something in Halo, multi-double or something like that. So that's existed before. So hopefully that'll be something interesting. So that's a thing that's going to come on. The other thing to update on is Iron Banner is coming back on the 26th of January and ending the 2nd of February, and this time around it's going to be Rift. This has been a completely unliked change. The announcement came and was met with sheer disdain and hatred. Some people hated it. Most just dislike. A lot of the streamers on Twitch, the big names on Twitch for the Destiny community, and even down to just your day-to-day player, has voiced their disapproval of it being Rift this time around. And even I am going to hate being Rift this time around, because Rift is definitely a team game mode. Control is passable. I hated Clash. The community really didn't like Clash. I think the problem with Clash was that they made the loot unnecessarily good. They kind of farced the loot, which made everyone like Clash. Same thing for SRL. SRL wasn't a good thing. It was kind of annoying, boring, only 2 maps, kind of stupid. But they made 320 stuff drop, so it made everyone think that they liked SRL. That kind of stuff, so that's not fun. But hopefully Rift will have some decent drops. The things you can get from that are the Fusion and Scout rifles, the chest piece, class item, and boots, and then the PlayStation exclusive stuff that I'm not going to go over. But they've also revealed that they have, in fact, changed Crucible. Skill-based matchmaking has been in effect in every playlist throughout the Crucible since December, which is why, if you've been having a lot of not fun in Crucible lately, that would be the cause of that. Specifically, I know a lot of people that I've been playing with, even myself, have noticed a decline in fun and an incline in frustration because Destiny's algorithms and its developers seem to be favoring skill and performance over performance and latency. You need to have I'd much rather have, uneven games in terms of skill, but have them be, next to 0% latency than have games that are lagging to shit and, because even if you're playing against people of equal skill, you can't have a skilled, even competitor game mode if there's so much lag you can't even breathe. The other problem with that is people with red bars don't need to be God mode, but hopefully they will enact some kind of system that toggles between skill-based and connection-based matchmaking, and that's plagued Crucible since Trials of Osiris and late last year. It's plagued video games forever. The latency issues, the lag issues, the disconnect, the host, that kind of thing. Especially with Destiny's system of peer-to-peer, which is player-hosted connections and not dedicated servers. You end up with this disconnect. Gears of War 3, when it launched, I believe, had dedicated servers, and after a few years, it switched to PvP, or P to P, which is player-hosted. So there is a host advantage. The person who's hosting the game has next to zero latency to the server because their console is running the game. So with host advantage in Gears of War, what you would end up with is whoever was host has, zero latency. So the things that they were doing, their input on their controller was modifying the game world that you were playing in at 0% latency, which meant that their actions were happening, specifically when they were doing them, and your actions that you were doing had to be input to your Xbox through the connection, through all the shit, and then back to their console, and then it had to have communication time, and that communication time, that latency, the lag in the system, causes an unfair advantage to those who have host versus those who are playing on someone else's host. What dedicated servers do is it neutralizes most of the latency issues and kind of equalizes everyone's communication. So if one person is texting and one person's using paper mail in the UPS or the snail mail or whatever country you're in, their paper-based mail with stamps and things like that, the U.S. Postal Service, the British Postal Service, things like that. If someone's texting versus someone sending a carrier pigeon, let's say, say the host is sending text messages and everyone else is sending carrier pigeons, obviously the text is going to get there before the carrier pigeons do. And what, dedicated servers do is they kind of neutralize that and made it so everyone's texting or everyone's using a carrier pigeon. It kind of neutralizes that communication time and makes it better for everyone else. But I'm not an expert on communication, so that's as far as I know exists for that kind of stuff, so I'm not going to talk too much further into it. I'm not, a networker, a network engineer or anything like that, but so essentially that's all we get. There's no word of new DLC. There are hints, of future things coming sometime after February, hints of DLCs that we have previously been under the impression were to scale of Taken King. Hopefully we'll get something good in March. I'm hoping something that will, maybe they'll throw out something that will compete with The Division, something that will compete with Spring. Even if Destiny Year 2 ends up being, Taken King being the big drop and then, sprinkle little events until we get a second huge drop halfway through the second year, which would be in March, I believe, then that's fine. Then we get sprinkled events from there, that's fine, but they really need to communicate more. And I understand that there are some secrets that need to be held, but the roadmap that we've all thought was pretty much accurate, which was from year one, having the Vex Void and the Forge of the Gods, the leaked quote-unquote image from last year, we kind of went into this with false expectations, and I think the player base is starting to fall apart at the seams. It seems like currently a lot of people that were like the holdouts, I made a tweet about this, but people that are always, speaking good for Bungie and always saying Destiny will live forever and this is a great game, and they're the people that would, the last people that would flake off of like the hype train or the excitement train or the faith of Destiny being a good game. The people that are the most dedicated to Destiny are starting to crumble away from Destiny itself. The PvP players that aren't shitty, that aren't shitty people inside, just PvP players in general are starting to, say this is not okay. A lot of the Twitch streamers that play Destiny every single day are starting to go off and play other games, and that's fine. That's the natural progression of game development. You know, there's bound to be lulls in content, but the fact that it's actually noticeably dropping numbers and people who I've always seen, you know, maybe not even people that are vocal, you know, groups in the community, but you know, the overall feeling of the community currently, when I'm in LFG groups for raids, and the overall just like emotion of the, you know, the overall tone of the community currently is not good. Is not good. You know, I would be like one of the last people to say anything bad about Destiny overall. It's a fantastic game. I love it. I've gotten more than my money's worth out of it. You know, thousands and thousands of hours in it, you know, and dedicate hours and hours a day to it. And even I, over the last few weeks, have gotten very upset with it. Been very let down. Very, you know, it's unfortunate. The communication is faulty, and we need something new. So those are my 2 cents on the issues. If you guys have any comments about the weekly update, going into the weekly updates, you always kind of have to have, you know, a neutral, unbiased expectation of pretty much you're just expecting them to say, Destiny exists, we're going to keep making it, we love you, goodbye, you know, that kind of stuff. You don't really expect anything great to come out of them, and if you go through them like that, then you're not going to be disappointed. But this one definitely needed something else in it to keep us going. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any comments on the update or anything like that, go ahead and leave a comment below. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, I very much appreciate it. And until the next video, yeah, have a great day, everyone.